Yeah, that's
The
good.
people-pleasing disease, wanting everybody to love you, wanting everybody to like you. And I found out that's one of the hardest things that I have had to walk out in leadership, whether it's leadership with City Council or leadership with Wayne Pregnancy Center and Cry Freedom Missions, is that people-pleasing side. Because it's hard to be a leader and wanting everybody to love you, but you recognize that you have to hold people accountable.
Welcome to For the Record, a Wayne County Chamber of Commerce podcast, where real conversations meet real impact. We dive into the stories, insights, and experiences that shape our world, bringing you expert voices, thought-provoking discussions, and a fresh perspective on the topics that matter most. For the Record is proudly sponsored by Atlantic Casualty Insurance Company, T.A. Loving Company, Goldsboro Builder Supply, PDM Professional Data Management, UNC Physicians Network, Alta Foods, and Butterball. We're grateful for their support and making these conversations possible. And for the record, we're glad you're here.
All right. So for the record, I'm with the great, and I mean it, the great Beverly Weeks, ma'am. It's certainly a pleasure to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. You really have inspired me in just the short time you've been with the Chamber. And then through our meetings at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, I believe you are a light. And I don't say that lightly, a bright light for our city. So I'm excited that you're a part of the Chamber now.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I sure do appreciate that, because I'll tell you, so getting stationed here in 2023, taking over command, I can remember my wife getting involved in your ministry. And we're going to get to that, the Cry Freedom Ministry, but also the Pregnancy Center. And it made a big imprint on her. She loved volunteering and going over, and it really made her feel connected to the community. But it also, she knew the impact of it because she had gotten a chance to sit with you and to talk about it. And so we'll talk more, like I said, but thank you for that and what you do here in the community. And so there's so much to talk about. And so there really is. And so I want to dive straight in and talk about you. So if you could introduce, most of us already know you, but if you can introduce yourself, what you do now, all the things that you do, and then we'll jump straight in. And we're going to start at the beginning.
All right. So I am Beverly Weeks,
Yes,
and I am the CEO of Wayne Pregnancy Center and Cry Freedom Missions. That's my love. That's my passion. I also love, I'm an ordained minister. So I love speaking and sharing the love of Christ and the hope of Christ. I am a mother of 2 kids. So my son Tyler is fixing to get married in December.
Oh, congrats.
He is a youth pastor at a local church here. And then I have a daughter. She's in her last year of college. So guess what? College, a wedding, all in 1 year. I'm just broke. Okay, we're just broke.
Well, I will say you did a great job. You know, it's fun because Tyler does our website for here, which he's so gifted. And then I ran into your daughter, as you know, at Mount Olive, and they're just both great kiddos. So congratulations to both of them.
Yep. And then I would say this, other than Jesus Christ, man, I'm married to my best friend, and that's my husband, Rick. He just retired with UNC here in Goldsboro. He worked there for 30 years, and he was retired just a couple of weeks and took a job full-time as a CFO. So he came out of retirement, and he's the CFO of our denomination. So he drives every day back and forth to Falcon to work. So I love doing that. And then being a city councilwoman, I really love being able to serve our community. And we have a great team, a great mayor, and I'm excited about what the Lord has in store for us for the next 2 years.
Yes, ma'am. You know, so I love that. So thinking about what motivates me is seeing what folks do in the community. So councilwoman, author as well.
Yes.
International speaker, CFM, Pregnancy Center. And you've been able to balance it with your husband, Rick, who's the love of your life for over 30 years. You've been married?
Yes, a little over 30 years.
30 years.
Yep.
2 children who are excelling. One
and
getting
a grand
married.
dog named Boone.
And you got a grand dog named Boone.
Got me a grand dog named Boone.
There's a grand dog?
Yep, a grand dog.
Holy cow.
Yep.
That's
I'm a grandma.
You're
some people are grandma. I'm a glamma or a glammy.
We should have brought the dog here.
Yes,
we
I
just
know.
had a kid for the first time.
He would have been a great time.
Oh,
He
I'd
would
love
have been
to have.
great. Yeah.
So with all of those things, and obviously with your faith in Jesus being at the forefront, it all had to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I love listening to your story. I've heard it before. I could listen to it all day long. But if you could, what started when you were a child? What is the thing? How was your upbringing?
So I actually was raised in a Christian home. I went to Faith Christian Academy for a while, and had an amazing upbringing. During my childhood, I would probably say roughly around the 10-year-old mark, my father got hurt by the church. We all know that church hurt really, really exists. And my father turned away from Christ for a while, and he decided to turn to alcohol instead. And so I love sharing that because, we overcome by the word of our testimony.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
I believe the problem in cities in our country is that we don't share, and people come up and they think, oh my goodness, this person is perfect.
Right.
They have no issues. Everything's always been perfect for them. And I want everybody to know that everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. Walking out those years with my father as an alcoholic, I would say was some of the toughest years I've ever had in my life. But I saw the redemption of Christ. And that's what I want to share, that as long as you're breathing, there's hope. I don't care if you're dealing with addiction. Maybe you're dealing with alcohol, drugs, pornography. Again, as long as you're breathing, there's hope, there's redemption found in Christ. And so don't be nervous about sharing your story with other individuals, because if I could go back and change anything, I want to look at you and tell you that I am grateful to God that I had to walk out that season, because it makes you love better. It makes you serve better. It makes you have compassion for individuals who have walked out those seasons of life. And so I'm so glad that God did bring us through those years, our family through those years, because it makes you a stronger, I would say a stronger, better individual.
Oh, easy to see that, right? But that's tough in the circumstances, right?
Oh, most definitely.
So I do love, when we think about examining ourselves or looking at the fruit that we bear, but it's through those difficult times that we gather the greatest strength. And I think we end up having, hopefully through prayer, the wisdom and discernment to be able to recognize what we're going through. And my father was an alcoholic as well. And he passed away from, alcohol abuse, from cancer, from cigarettes as well. And I loved him to death, but it was a lot of lessons that I learned through that walk. And so you were going through that at a young age. Now, did you have siblings as well with you?
I did have siblings. I have 3 younger sisters. There's 4 girls in the home. So we left Faith Christian Academy and we moved to Herman Street, if you know where Herman Street is, down by the park. And I would walk to school every day, and I would have this hidden fear inside of me. What will people say when they find out how my family life really is? I just really felt low self-esteem, low self-worth. I would weep all the time. I felt really disconnected. And I had a school teacher here in Wayne County. Her name was Janet Barnes, and she taught me music. And I'm telling you something, there's something just about singing. I love to sing. Especially praises to my God. But this teacher, she found potential in me, and she was someone that I could easily talk to, and she had a gift. And it's a gift that as I got older, I was like, I want that gift. And it's called the gift of listening. Because sometimes we're so eager to solve a situation for someone, or we're so busy, because one of Satan's greatest weapons is busyness. He keeps us so busy that we're not taking time to listen. And she had a gift of listening. And through that gift of her listening and ministering to me as a school teacher right here in Wayne County, I began to flourish. I began to blossom. And she taught me that I had self-worth and I had value. And she taught me Psalm 139. That I'm Christ, born of Christ, and I'm a daughter of the Most High. And so I'm grateful for school teachers, for social workers, for pastoral staff. You can minister. You do not have to have a platform to be in ministry. You can minister in the grocery store as a school teacher. And so I'm grateful for school teachers like Miss Janet Barnes.
That's a question I was going to ask too, because, as you go through these times, especially you're thinking about what other people think. And, I've had some discussions with other folks who often that really it grips us, right? What is the perception of other people in our lives? What is that? And, at a young age, I'm more and more concerned at the social media play with that to where what they're thinking makes a successful young person. And listening, you're so right. I often hear folks say, you don't hear me. And my own kids have often said, Dad, you're not listening. You're not listening. But this young lady, this teacher, and my wife's a teacher, and God bless teachers. They are absolutely so amazing. She was one of those who really fed into you and was did you keep in touch with her for a while, or?
So she has since retired, but I see her. I have visited her church before, but I just remember that name, and she was just such a sweet, precious lady. I remember I sang my very first duet in school. She arranged that with a pastor. He's since grown up, and I understand he's running his own church now, Pastor Timothy Dortch. I don't know if that name sounds familiar with you, but that was one of my favorite duets. But what a great teacher. And you're so right about social media. Not only are our kids guilty of comparing what we see on social media, but we as adults can be guilty as well. We compare our bad days to the good days that we're seeing on social media. I lived that out. I'm speaking to you from experience. I had a disease for such a long time. And I would love to tell you that I have completely overcome the disease, but I'm looking at you as a 56-year-old woman and saying that I'm still saying, Lord, heal me some in that area. And that's called the people-pleasing disease.
Yeah, that's good.
The people-pleasing disease, wanting everybody to love you, wanting everybody to like you. And I found out that's one of the hardest things that I have had to walk out in leadership. Whether it's leadership with City Council or leadership with Wayne Pregnancy Center and Cry Freedom Missions, is that people-pleasing side. Because it's hard to be a leader and wanting everybody to love you, but you recognize that you have to hold people accountable. You have to hire people. You have to fire people. And so that was an area in my life where I said, Lord, I turn this over to you. I turn this over to you. I want to be all the things that you say that I am in Psalm 139. And I don't want to put my affirmation in whatever my checking account says it has in there. Mm-hmm. I don't want to put my affirmation or base who I am on what the bathroom scale says I am or what other people. But Lord, it's all about whose I am.
No, and golly, that leads me to want to really just dive really into Cry Freedom Missions in that sense, because, you talk about people pleasing, absolutely right. I think we do, right? And I think it's a good initial thing. That means we want to serve others, but then it sort of overtakes us and it can consume us. And in your area, especially with CFM, the Women Pregnancy Center, but even as a councilwoman, I've been to those city council meetings and you get some tough questions. And I agree with you. I think we have an amazing mayor. We have an amazing city manager, and the council is second to none. But it's tough. Those days can be very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
So how in the world, and I know your faith is number one and first, but how do you go about that? I mean, you just said, how do you go about making those tough decisions and being firm in that decision?
So it's recognizing one thing. So I have been studying the human brain, okay? My husband and I do a lot of marriage counseling for couples. And so Men have what you call, and I'm going to educate you some today, okay?
I love it. I need it.
Men have what you call larger inferior parietal lobes. That means they're mathematically inclined. So every time a woman goes shopping, what's the first thing you guys say when we come home?
How much did you spend?
How much did you spend?
You got it.
Women have a larger hippocampus. We're very emotional creatures, okay? That's why when a husband and a wife comes in and I'm doing marriage counseling with them, I can say, hey, what's wrong? And he'll name it just like that. Her, she's all emotional, okay? All over the place.
Got it.
But on average, male or female, you have anywhere between 50 and 75,000 thoughts that go through your mind in any given day.
Wow, really?
Now, you can't control a thought from entering your mind. Like right now, a thought just entering your mind. Probably, I wish I had gotten somebody else like Kate Daniels. I'm just
You're
picking.
crazy.
You can't control a thought from entering your mind.
Yeah.
But what you can control is how long you dwell on the thought.
Oh, that's good.
You can control that. Some of Satan's greatest weapons are psychological. He wants to wipe you out. And so for me, it's recognizing the enemy wants to destroy you. He wants to destroy our families. It says the enemy has come to steal, kill, and destroy. Some of his greatest weapons are psychological. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. If I look like Kate Daniels, are you following what I'm saying? That's some of his greatest weapons. They're psychological. And so for me as a leader, when I hear those voices in my head, I have to determine, is this of God? Is this truth? Because the Bible tells us you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. So I get to control how long I dwell on that thought. So if it's there and if it comes to me, that attack, you're a bad leader. So-and-so just quit. She must have quit because you're a bad leader. Okay.
That self-talk is,
yes.
You're right. It can destroy.
So I have to change my stankin' thinking.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
We've
I'm
had a
from the
few good
country.
ones right there.
I'm from the country.
Yeah.
I was born and raised in Hunter, North Carolina. If you
I got
know
up
where
there
that
last
is.
week and checked
Yes.
out some farms up there.
Most definitely.
Wonderful area.
Yes, I was raised right there. So change my stankin' thinking. And then that helps me as a leader, okay? And then that sets the tone so that I can go to my staff as well and say, if they're coming to me, I can't do this. I can't supervise this individual, or I'm not good enough to lead in this area. No. Who told you that? Who told you that?
Right.
I didn't tell you that you weren't good enough to lead that area. So who told you that? Where did you hear that voice? It had to be the voice of the enemy.
That's so good because, having been in the military for a while and having a chance to command and, loss of self-esteem, or when folks say that, you're absolutely right. Most of the time, it's not an individual that went up. And sometimes if there's some good constructive criticism, which I think is a gift if somebody can do that. But you're right. In our minds, we start to, you're right. The enemy jumps in and then we validate it when we continue to think about it, don't we?
I think comparison and competitiveness kills a lot of people and their potential because we compare ourselves. We compare ourselves to other individuals, and God never created us to be the other individual. He created us. He created you to be you.
Well, it's amazing that you say that, because then when we look at on the Cry Freedom mission, the impact that you've had, that your organization, because I know you would say it, it's all of you coming together to work to help. And I don't want to speak out right now on this because I want to make sure I'm very delicate here, but Cry Freedom's mission is blank.
So it's to reach, rescue, and restore survivors of sex trafficking. What I saw roughly about the year, I would say, so I started Wayne Pregnancy Center in 2013. I took the job in 2013. I was actually looking a job in family counseling. That's what I was looking for. And so the board at the time of the pregnancy center offered me the job as the director of the pregnancy center. I'll be honest with you, it was, I'm going to take this job until you can find somebody. Like, I'm just going to give this 90 days. So we're in 2025 and I'm still on my 90 days.
It's a long 90 days.
Yeah, I know. But roughly about 2019, I saw a group of women who were coming into the pregnancy center to get pregnancy tests. It was the same group of women, and they would constantly come in to get pregnancy tests. I noticed a couple of red flags. Some of them had a lot of meth sores. I don't know if you're familiar with meth sores, but that's from active drug use.
Okay.
Some would wear the same clothes. Some were malnourished. Some even had high rates of they had went off and had abortions. Okay. All of those were red flags for me. I took one of the young women home that day to a local hotel that's known for criminal activity. It's known for prostitution. And when I walked into that room, everything changed for me that day. It was very evident that she was being prostituted out. And so our first thing was we started street outreach. We go into hotels all across the state of North Carolina that are known for criminal activity. They're known for prostitution. They're known for drug activity. The first client that I met in our street outreach, her name was Amy. And we build a relationship. When we go out, we take toothbrushes, we take toiletry items. A lot of times we take chocolate and chicken. You would not believe what good of a conversation you can start with chocolate and chicken, okay?
Yeah, it's good.
And it's just to build a relationship.
Right.
Because, see, our Jesus was relational. When he met the woman at the well, if you recall,
I do.
That is the longest conversation recorded in the Bible that Jesus has with someone. Before any sin was called out, he started a conversation. Like he said, if you drink this water, you will never thirst again. He started a conversation. And so my first goal was, let's start conversations. Let's get outside of these walls of the pregnancy center and go to the street and start conversations. I met Amy, built a relationship with Amy, fell in love with her personality. And Amy shared with me how she's been prostituted by her mother since she was 7 years old.
Oh my.
7 years old. I got the SBI involved. They were sharing some of her story. Amy becomes pregnant on the streets and goes to the hospital to deliver. And of course, my husband was working at the hospital. We knew the doctors very well. And they said, come on in and you help us deliver the baby. I went in and something terribly went wrong, Todd. The nurse came out and she placed a lifeless baby in my hand. And she said, I'm so sorry. She said, there's no money for a funeral. And so she said, if you would like to have a funeral right here, we'll let you have a funeral before we take the baby away. Amy looked at me and she said, Miss Beverly, I don't know none of your Jesus songs. She said, but would you let me sing my baby a song before you take it away from me? And Todd, she sang a song and it went like this. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much Mommy loved you. She stopped. She let out the loudest scream I've ever heard. And she said, I beg of you, please don't take my baby away from me. She said, all my life, all I've ever wanted was just one person that would love me and not do anything ugly to me in return. And I said, Amy, I know a man that before your feet ever hit the floor this morning, he thought you were the most valuable, precious person in the world. And his name is Jesus. And so on that day, I determined that there's a lot of Amy's out there. There's a lot of brokenness. There's a lot of stories. And so we started hotel outreach, street outreach. I noticed in the paper, I'm showing my age, right? I read the paper a lot, that a lot of these same girls were ending up in jail. And so I went to different sheriffs across the state of North Carolina and said, let us come into jail. Let us teach English. Let us teach math. Let us teach music. And then we can continue that relationship, some of those same relationships with the people that we're meeting on the street. We can continue them in the jail, and I can work with the lawyers, work with the judges, and get these women to safety. because we did an intake. And you know what was interesting to me, Todd? Is as I was going across the state of North Carolina, is that over 90% of the women that I was doing intakes on in the jail, over 90% of them have been sexually exploited in some way.
Wow.
They've had to exchange sex for drugs. They've had to exchange sex for food. They've had to exchange sex for a room. And so that just really impacted me a lot. And so we started Cry Freedom Missions. We met this beautiful girl named Tara that owns Dance for Christ here in Goldsboro.
Yeah.
And Tara was making jewelry, and she was making bracelets, and she would make them a couple of times a year. Let me just tell you how incredible she is. And she's amazing.
Is that Tara McLam?
No. So Tara McLam owns the skincare products, and she's absolutely gorgeous. But it's Tara Warren.
And
yeah,
was
Tara Warren.
At the Paramount, right? That she had shows at the Paramount?
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's right. Tara's. Yes, I went to one of the shows this past year.
And I almost messed that up, but it's Tara Warren, okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. She was making bracelets, and she would make them a couple of times a year, and she would sell them at the Paramount at their shows, and she called it Cry Freedom Jewelry, okay?
Oh, great.
And so she came in, and she actually taught our survivors how to make jewelry, because that would provide what we thought was just a little bit of extra income for the ministry, because we were paying co-pays and helping to pay for teeth and rooms and things like that for the clients. It started growing, and Tara was about to get married. And so I went to Tara at the time, and I had a young guy that worked with me, Jonathan Chavis. He was phenomenal as well with the ministry. And we said, look, would you let us have the Cry Freedom name? Because we believe God has so much more in store for this ministry. And so we worked it out. We worked it out with our attorney. She gave us the Cry Freedom name. And then Mr. Lawrence helped us to get that established as a DBA of Wayne Pregnancy Center. We added the name Missions, and that was in 2019. And there you had Cry Freedom Missions.
You know, I wanted to ask that because I was there this weekend, and I saw the key up there, and I was just looking at Cry Freedom Mission. And first off, just to listen to that, I think I speak for everybody in this room. Wow. You know, it is wow. I hope you know that. And I know that's all through Christ, but...
You know what is another wow about it, Todd?
That?
If you would just let me just
Yes,
go
ma'am.
a little bit further.
Please.
Tara could have kept the name. She could have said no.
Right.
She could have said, no, I'm going to continue. I believe that I'm going to continue maybe in 10 years, 15 years, whatever, to make more bracelets. But she was sensitive enough to the Holy Spirit to say, no, I'm going to release it. How often do we all have gifts that we could release to others? Just like you and I will not always be in our positions. You know, sometimes it is hard for me to think that Beverly Weeks, you will not always be running Cry Freedom Missions.
Right.
You will have to someday pass down that mantle and release it to someone else who can take it to the next level. But what if she had said no? Because what if she had a competitive spirit? Or, no. But by her releasing it, can you see what God was able to do? He magnified, it exploded. And so I'm grateful for an individual who was willing to say yes.
Yeah, to be his hands and feet, right? To be able to recognize that. And then, you know, obviously when we hear what you do and your organization does, it's hard not to say wow, and it's hard not to be thankful for that, especially in this whole area in Wayne County. I know that it's also very, very, I don't want to use the word scary. I think it can be scary. You've actually been so proactive that you've gotten really kind of in a tactical level with this. I mean, your heart for these women have put you in harm's way. Is that a true statement?
So this is so interesting. When we first got started, I did go out with the SBI to get some training. I'll go ahead and put it out here for the public. I just want to let you know I'm a terrible shooter. Maybe I shouldn't be putting that on TV, but I remember Ken Edwards came in. He was retired law enforcement here in Wayne County with the Goldsboro Police Department, and he did the training with our staff. He lined us all up that day. Ashley was standing beside of me. She was a detective. She has since left us, and now she's a sergeant at the Kenley Police Department. But he lined up all our staff that day, and he was teaching us shooting maneuvers to protect ourselves. And he said, when we get finished, you're going to graduate, you'll get a certificate. Well, he comes up to me and he goes, I do not want to embarrass you in front of your staff. He goes, I know that this is a Facebook moment and they're putting this on Facebook. He said, so I don't want to embarrass you. He said, but you will not be getting a certificate. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, you're like one of the worst shooters I've ever seen. And I'm like, what's the problem? Like, I shot the target in the heart twice. What's the problem here? He said, the problem is it took you 42 times. And so I'm a terrible shooter. If you see me with a gun, you better run.
I will get out of the way.
You better run.
Yeah. You did hit it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what he's talking about.
So you talk about fear. So, fear can also hold us back from a lot of things, okay? So you're right. A lot of people ask me, why would you do it? Why would you leave the safety of your own home sometimes at night? We've went out in the middle of the night, or I have done stings with local law enforcement, with SBI, Homeland Security, FBI. Why would you do that? Why would you leave the safety? Why would you do it? My answer will always be the same. These are somebody's daughters. These are somebody's granddaughters. These are somebody's sons, grandsons. And truthfully, if it weren't for the grace of God, could that very well have been one of my daughters?
Right.
Or Todd, I'm looking you in the eye and saying, I shared with you transparently the lifestyle that I had to walk through as a young girl. What if things had been differently? What if that story had not been restored and it had not been redeemed? Could I have been one of those young women that are out on the streets? Because what I have found out is nobody raises your hand in school and says, hello, I want to be in addiction when I grow up.
Right.
Hello, I want to be in prostitution when I grow up. No, there's deep hurts there.
Right.
There's pain. And what I'm finding is a lot of these individuals, and not just women, because we've rescued young boys or men out of trafficking as well, but they're numbing their pain. They're numbing past hurts. And so what if that was me? What if? And so that's why we go. And so do I carry? People ask me all the time, do you carry? Yes. Number one, I carry my Mary Kay lipstick. I do carry, and I carry the Holy Spirit everywhere I go, because guess what? The Holy Spirit can get you out of a lot of situations.
Well, you have certainly done that. And I will tell you, I could sit here with you for hours to talk about these stories. And, it was a drop the mic moment for me as you shared that story, especially with Amy and the baby. I couldn't imagine going through that, but the Lord put you here for that season, for that reason, for Amy. And he's put you here in Wayne County, and you have made a major impact on this community. I know it won't stop. It won't. And we saw it this weekend when we enjoyed our time over at CFM in the thrift store. And I see that you've also opened up the ice cream area with the kids. Anything you can think of is over there when it comes to providing opportunities for folks to find great clothes. I've gotten suits there, but it's also furniture's over there. It's also, it's a community. When we go in there and I see folks in there, your staff is wonderful, and they've got to be sensitive.
And a lot of that staff you may not recognize as survivors. So if you graduate from our program, we will guarantee you a full-time job. The reason why I opened the thrift shop is the shops downtown, Todd, time you pay your staff, you pay your cost of goods. I'll be honest with you, if the building had not been given to us, it just barely breaks even.
Right.
So I was like, Lord, you've got to help me. How do we keep this ministry sustainable? How do we keep it alive? How do we keep these girls off the streets, out of prostitution? So we have those 2 safe houses, and just the 2 safe houses, the budget for the 2 safe houses alone is roughly about $600,000 a year just to run 2 safe houses. So Lord, show me, Holy Spirit, show me what to do. And so I've came up with the idea for the thrift shops. And so we're hoping that the thrift shops will help to provide some of the income to keep the safe houses more sustainable. So Lord, I'm willing to try, because guess what? You and I can try things and we may know it doesn't work. But guess what? Lord, I'm willing to try it. I'm not going to let fear hold me back.
No, and you're not. And you're certainly putting people first. And that's what we're supposed to do, right? To love him with all our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to count others more significant than ourselves, or to love them as ourselves. And so, Beverly, it's been a privilege. I would love, well, we're going to have a relationship the entire time we live here. And I do look forward to working with you closely, whether it's on the council, whether it's with your ministry. Golly, we didn't even talk about your authorship, your books. But I do want to end with a quick round, because I always like getting close to someone. So I've got to ask you, you've got to decompress it sometimes. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, what's your favorite music?
So my favorite music is praise and worship.
All right. Favorite
praise
band?
And worship. My
favorite band? Favorite praise and favorite Christian band?
Favorite Christian band. Oh my gosh.
Get praise and worship.
You know what?
Out.
So let me tell you, it's a local group.
Yeah.
It's from University of Mount Olive College. I am a huge Carolina Sound fan. Have you heard them?
I have not, but I want to.
You've got to hear them. They're phenomenal.
I need to get down
and
and see
I love their music.
Oh, I love that. I love that. All right. Do you have a favorite sport?
Favorite sport? Well, it was kickball.
Okay, kickball. I was pretty solid myself.
Basketball. I played basketball for 1 year. They were frustrated at me. They kicked me off of the basketball team and placed me as a cheerleader. They kicked me off the basketball team because, you have halftime. You're supposed to switch.
Yeah.
I never could get that part right. So I was terrible at basketball. Kicked me off. Can be cheerleader. Yeah.
Okay, cheerleader.
Yep.
Gage, were you any good in kickball?
I'm still decent.
I think I could. I'm pretty solid. Caleb, how about you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Feeling
Hey,
pretty
and
good.
that was with high heels. Everybody who knows me knows that anytime you see Miss Beverly on the streets, it's just a pair of nude high heels.
It's just a pair of nude high heels.
You don't have to worry about changing your shoes. You don't have to worry about buying all these shoes. See, their wives have umpteen thousand pairs of shoes in the closet.
Right.
Just give me a nice nude pair of shoes and I'll go.
Bam.
I'll go.
I love it. And last one, if you could pick a vacation spot, where would you go? Where would you and Rick go?
Let me just tell you, my favorite place to travel to is the Biltmore. I love Asheville. I love the mountains.
That for Christmas. Have you been up there for Christmas?
Yes, I have been there multiple times for Christmas. I met my husband. My husband went to Boone, to college at Appalachian. We love the mountains, but Asheville and the Biltmore is my favorite vacation spot in the whole wide world.
All right. So I got to get up there. I got to take the wife. We went up and saw the Vanderbilt place in Rhode Island. Just gorgeous. We saw that for Christmas. So that's where we got to get this year then. So, well, ma'am, it's a pleasure.
Yes,
we
sir.
really love it. Look forward to talking with you soon. And thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.